Hello, in this video I'm going to demonstrate how you can do one of the reading enrichment activities. So this one is roll and read, and this is a pretty traditional exercise. Kids are pretty familiar with the roll and read activity. And first I will just say, if you don't have a literal physical dice right there with you at arm's reach, and you do have your phone, then you can pull up an interactive dice. I tend to prefer the teacher-led website the best. I'm just used to it, but I find it by typing in classroom dice, and it'll take you to a little interactive dice rolling website. And there are 3 dice options: blue, pink, and yellow. You'll see it if I roll it. And so I would let the student pick whatever color that they wanted to be, and let's say, for instance, they picked blue, then they're going to go to row number 2. So we're going to go to row number 2, and they're going to read all of the words in that row. So there are 3 main ways that I do this activity with students to make it meaningful for them. And the first way that I do it with them is I have them read the words slowly in that row first, and then go back a second time around and read them much faster if they can. So, and of course I would put the ball in their court. I wouldn't do the work for them, but I'm gonna do it right now just to show you. But I wouldn't do it for them if I was with a student. So I would tell them to do it. But it might sound something like this. They would say, blop, bread, scum, bran, blop, bread, scum, bran. So I really tend to default to that method of doing this activity, because really I'm getting them to read all of the words in that row accurately and automatically and twice. And so it's just a lot of repetitive practice, which tends to be beneficial for the type of student who needs this exercise. A second way that you could do this activity, if you're kind of bored of that way, or if the student is bored of doing it that way, then you could have them read the words in that row and then have them go back and select one word to use in a sentence. So let's say, for instance, they read all of the words and then they choose the word scum, and they say, okay, there is scum at the bottom of the dish. Then I would be very satisfied with that. It would be great. Let's move on. Roll again. But sometimes they change the verbiage of the word. So, like, I don't know, they might do it with blop. I don't know. Well, let me see. Well, okay, so I'm gonna use scan as an example. So sometimes if they're using this word in a sentence, they might say scanned. Like they might say, I scanned the room for my best friend. And I would say, great, that's awesome. You use the word scanned in a sentence. But now I wonder if you can use this word scan exactly as it's written without changing the form. And so I would step back and just give them some think time. But if they needed my support, then I might give them a part of a sentence. I might say something like, okay, I will scan, and then hopefully they would say something like, I will scan the room for my best friend. So just to get them to use that word in that form. And then a third way that I like to do this activity with kids is probably their favorite way to do it. If they roll a 2, then they select one word from that row to read, and then they cross it off. So if they have a crayon or marker or pencil or whatever they're using, let's say, for instance, they rolled a 2 and then they wanted to read this word, they would say bread, and then they would cross it out. If they roll a 2 again, then they don't have to read that word again. So I don't know, they tend to request that way, but I'll let them have it, but only if they do it my way first. And speaking of, if there is another way, there's probably many other ways that I'm not even thinking of how to do roll and read. If the kid knows another way and they wanted to explain it to me, a way that they do it, I would definitely listen to them and let them do it their way as well. So anyways, that's roll and read. That's how we do this activity.